In this video, we are going to learn about sequences. Sequences are ordered collection of items, and there are three main types that you will normally encounter in Python, which is list, tuples, and strings. Each has unique characteristics, but they share some common features like being iterable. So what does it mean by being iterable is that you can look through every item in the sequence. And it also supports indexing. The first one that we want to learn is list. Lists are mutable. What does it mean by mutable is that you can change the content of the items in the list. You can also add, remove, or modify elements in the list. Now, how to create the list? First, you give it a name and you define it by using square brackets like this. And in between, you can put numbers, for example. If you print this list, you will get this output. But if you want to print an element in the list, you can access individual element by using the index. For example, if I want to access value 4 here, this location is at index 1, where the index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3. If I run this, I'll get 4. You can also modify the list. For example, I want to modify the second element to something like this. If I print the list again, this is what I get. The second element has been changed to string 2. Now, the good thing about Python list is that you can combine different types of elements in the list. For example, initially you have all the elements are integers, but here you can combine elements such as integer and strings into a list. You can also add more elements by using append keyword. And if I print this is what I get. The new element is now appended to the last location of the list. You can also remove it. Now, if I print my list, here I have removed element with value 1. If I want to further remove this element, for example, you can do so by writing a statement like this. If I print the list, this is what I get. The string 2 has been removed. Now we move to tuple. Tuple is immutable, which means once you create it, you cannot modify it. The way you define it is almost similar to the way you define list, but with parentheses. For example, if you print this, you get this tuple. List is often used when you want to store fixed collection of items. If you want to access value 9 here, which is at index 2, you can do so by writing this. So here you are accessing the value 9 with index 2, because the index also starts from 0. So this index is 0, 1, 2. Now let's try to modify the tuple like we did in the list, like this. My tuple. If you try to run this, you will get an error. The error says tuple object does not support item assignment. That means you cannot modify the content of a tuple once you have created it. The last sequence that I want to talk about is string. String is also immutable, which means you cannot modify the content of a string. How to define a string? You do so by creating something like this. My string equals to hello and welcome to Python. When you print this, you will see a string like this being printed here. You can also access an individual element in the string. For example, you want to access this value. So you need to count the index number, which starts at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that index is 8. So when you print it, you get D. Like I said before, string is immutable, so you cannot modify the content of the string. For example, my string of 8 and I want to modify it to something else. You get an error. The str object does not support item assignment. For all the sequences that we have covered here, there are some common sequence operations that you can do for all of them. For example, if I want to access the length of the list, I can just simply use the len function. So this one will print the length of the list, where the length of the list is currently 3. If you look at here, the last remaining items in the list is currently 3. Now let's try to print the length of the tuple. So this is 4, which indicates that there are 4 items in the tuple. What about string? Print length of my string. So you get 27. 27 means there are 27 characters in the string. You can also access an item in a sequence like we did before. For example, my list using the index, print my tuple, print my string. So running this, you will get each item at index location 1. You can also do index slicing, where you access certain portion of the elements. For example, print my list starting from 0 until 2. Here you only have the list contains from 0 until 2, so it will access from 0 until 2, but not including 2. So here practically it is accessing 0 until 1. You can also do so with my tuple, where you can access from index 1 until 3. So you are accessing from index 1 until 2, which does not include 3. 1 until 2. And for string, 5 until 10. If you run this, you will get this data, where you get the data from here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which start at 5 until 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But 10 is not included, so that's why you get this data, which is printed here. You can also test for membership in sequence, such as print for in my list. Here you are basically testing whether 4 exists in my list. Since 4 does not exist in my list, so it will return false. What if you try to change this one to print 2 in my list? Since number 2 exists in my list, so it will return true. You can also do so with 2 in my tuple, which is true because 2 exists in this tuple. You can also do something like this: 89 not in my tuple, which is true because 89 does not exist in this tuple. You can also test this one with string, print n in my string. Here this is true because this string exists in my string. So those are the basic things that we can learn from sequences in Python.